now at 7 a.m.
Our country and its taxpayers have been ripped off for more than 50 years, but it is not going to happen anymore.
President Trump announces sweeping new global tariffs, which sent stock futures tumbling overnight. The plan he unveiled and the impact it could have on your wallet.
Plus, new this morning, a case of road rage caught on camera on a local road. What deputies say led to one man pulling a gun on another driver.
And Florida's first bear hunt in years could be close to reality. What wildlife workers have now revealed about the controversial idea. Good morning on your Friday Eve. Eve.
It is.
7 o'clock. I'm Crystal Moyer.
Excited for a second.
It's almost there. We're almost
Had to
there.
make sure I said Eve.
I'm Justin Mormouth. Trooper Steve is here watching the roads. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos will lead us off with that pinpoint accurate forecast.
A lot of heat back into the forecast for another day. So just make sure you're hydrating, as temperatures are certainly going to be back to feeling like the mid-90s. Take a live look outside. If me saying 90s all this time makes you say, you know, I'd like to go to the beach forecast is looking great. The only issue is that we do have a high risk of rip currents along all of our Atlantic beaches. Right now we're at 73 degrees. It is muggy. It is warm. We do have a bit of a breeze in place, and it's that breeze that's bumping up that risk of rip currents. Now, temperatures out the door for everyone who's heading to work and school, not able to enjoy the beach today. It's going to be hot no matter where you are in Central Florida right now. As of 7:01, we are all starting off in those 70s. Now, your highs this afternoon, inland zones nearing 90, mid-80s along our coastline. We are going to get hot, but not record-breaking just yet. That comes this weekend. Looking at our rain chances, for the most part, they're out of the picture unless you're right along our immediate coast, as a few isolated showers can't be ruled out. Now, again, a high risk of rip currents for today. Temperatures in the mid-80s. The water temperature, though, still in the 60s, but some big-time changes expected to move into Central Florida as we head into next week. But the heat will build up even further before we see those changes. We'll have more on that coming up in just a few. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Thank you, ma'am. I-4. You guys look good this morning. 89-mile marker. Express lanes looking nice. Yesterday, we had a pretty nasty crash out here that really backed us up for a few miles. This morning, you're cruising, nothing going on. So I-4, Maitland, even westbound towards the Kennedy area where that camera is located, past Lee Road, whether you're in the main line or your express lanes, things looking pretty good. Westbound out of the area, John Young to 27, 26 minutes. Lake Mary to Maitland, only 10. And then 434 down to State Road 50, it's a 9-minute drive. They add up, everything's moving pretty good with no current crashes to report. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Breaking overnight, worries about new tariffs announced by President Trump sending stock futures sinking. The Dow Jones Industrial dropping more than 1,000 points at one point, meaning your 401k could take a hit when the market opens later this morning. Now, the president announced those reciprocal tariffs yesterday, saying it is time to level the playing field with U.S. trade partners.
Yeah, but the big question is, what impact could it have on your wallet? News 6's Angie Casada is following the latest live. And Angie, these new tariffs are on countries that are already charging the U.S.
Yeah, hey guys, the president was quick to point out that these tariffs are way less than what these countries are charging us. Now, it's going to be a 10% tax on all imports and even some higher rates for some countries. If you look at the top right here, China looking at 34% on Chinese goods. But many experts worry the bottom line will be more money out of your pocket. President Trump calls this a liberation day for the American economy.
It's our declaration of economic independence. For years, hardworking American citizens were forced to sit on the sidelines as other nations got rich and powerful, much of it at our expense. But now it's our turn to prosper.
President Trump announced sweeping new global tariffs on all U.S. imports, including a baseline 10% tariff on goods from all U.S. trading partners and higher reciprocal tariffs on dozens of nations that have trade surpluses with the U.S. The president held up a chart showing China facing a 34% tax on goods it exports to the U.S. For the European Union, it's 20%. Economists warn the cost will fall on consumers.
When you introduce a tariff, you're actually shooting yourselves because you're making it even more expensive for people who create jobs and serve customers and who buy goods and services.
The White House argues the plan will push companies to manufacture more goods in the U.S., which could lower prices over time. But the question remains, will families feel relief anytime soon, or will everyday costs go up? The first round of tariffs will take effect at midnight on April 5th. Reporting in Orlando, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
And Angie, those new tariffs come on the heels of big new charges on auto imports that kick in today. It's a 25% charge on all foreign-made automobiles brought into the U.S. And then on May 3rd, those tariffs will apply to auto parts as well. Some shops and dealerships in Florida say they've seen a recent spike in business from people looking to beat the extra charge, which many business owners are already warning will have to be passed on to consumers.
Because they're not going to have the option of getting something that's really, really inexpensive. With the tariffs put on them, those are going to go up.
The president says the tariffs will lead to a major boost in American manufacturing. We have a full breakdown of his tariff plan on the homepage of clickorlando.com.
Happening today, the man accused of raping 4 women in Pine Hills could soon testify in his own defense. Nelson Odage is facing a possible life sentence after the victims were targeted while they waited at bus stops back in 2023. Yesterday, after prosecutors rested their case, Odage's attorneys said they would take the night to consider if he should testify. So far, all 4 women, the victims there, have taken the stand, along with experts who linked Odage's license plate and DNA to each of the 4 scenes.
New this morning, a man is facing charges after deputies say he pointed a gun at 2 men in a work truck. And this was all caught on dash cam. Here's some video showing the moment the driver in a white Mercedes-Benz passes a work truck, pointing a gun out of the window. The 2 men inside the truck say he threatened to shoot them. This happened in Mulberry in Polk County on Friday. The suspect, later identified as 22-year-old Camden Davis, was arrested. He's now charged with 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Happening today, people in Florida get another chance to sound off on a proposal to hold the first bear hunt in the state in nearly a decade. The idea has drawn lots of criticism, but despite the pushback, it now appears the state may be closer than ever to giving the green light. News 6's Mark Lehman is following this story live. And Mark, we learned yesterday, Fish and Wildlife, they even have a date in mind.
Yeah, FWC is proposing a 3-week bear hunt for December, indicating the state is preparing for that possibility. Now, all this comes with the goal of reducing encounters with bears in neighborhoods like this one near Markham Woods, and that conversation is continuing today. On her daily walks, Sandy Sherman says she's always bear aware.
I have seen them one time come up through my yard, like literally right along my fence.
She even carries protection, as sightings in northwest Seminole County have been on the rise in recent years. Just last week, there was a stir when a black bear was perched in a tree for several hours near Markham Woods Middle School.
As soon as people backed away from it, it went on its way like it's supposed to.
With that sighting in mind, Sandy says she'll be attending Florida Fish and Wildlife's next virtual meeting. They'll be discussing options for bringing back a bear hunt to the state for the first time since 2015. Yeah, why is it important for you to be a part of this call?
Because I'm a big wildlife advocate. I feel like the animals were here before us.
FWC estimates there are roughly 4,050 bears in Florida. Since 2016, bear-related calls are up 42%, and wildlife officials say there have been 16 incidents involving human-bear contact since 2020.
They definitely roam our neighborhood looking for anything they can get.
Sarah Mays says she thinks an increase in development has led to more bear encounters, and allowing the animals to be hunted may be the best option for population control. What do you think about that idea of bringing back the hunt?
It doesn't bother me. I think that if the numbers are high, why not?
Now take a look at this map. It shows all of the bear sightings within the last 5 years, and you can see just how many are here in the central Florida area. Now FWC says the proposal that they're considering includes allowing the killing of up to 200 bears. And now that virtual meeting is at 5 this afternoon. If you want to make your voice heard, we put a link under this story on clickorlando.com. In Seminole County, Mark Lehman, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, Mark, thank you. Hurricane season just 2 months away, and crews are working on a project to prevent flooding in one part of Winter Springs. Gee Creek is one of the places known to have flooding problems. Seems to happen every storm. The city's spokesperson says cleaning out the culverts is actually FDOT's job, but the city is taking matters into its own hands. He says the goal is to be proactive by working on a number of projects.
Yeah, we have a number of projects. We're trying to get ahead of a lot of the issues that we've faced in the past so that we don't have water backing up into people's homes. We don't have water topping the roadways.
A project to prevent erosion and backups is also in the works near Moss Park. Well, 2 months away. I don't like to think about that. We're going to enjoy the present. Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos joins us now. Hurricane season will eventually be here, Candace, but today, a really nice spring day.
Yes, 59 days, in case anybody was wondering. Yeah.
Cool.
I know. And then later on today, join us at News 6 at noon, where we will have the latest update. Colorado State University is sending out or issuing their first round of forecast for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season. We, of course, will be breaking it all down. ClickOrlando.com and, of course, right here on News 6. But in the meantime, though, it might be feeling like summer, but we are not dealing with the summer storms today. Temperatures right now at the door in Orlando. Our downtown Orlando sky cam you can see there, brought to you by Light Orlando, delivering hope together. We're at 72 degrees. In Daytona Beach, we're at 73. But look at you guys in Melbourne right now, 76. Now, as we look at the bus stop forecast over the next few hours, we're getting very close to near 90 degrees by dismissal. So as the kids are heading home from school, making sure that they have their water bottles with them, staying hydrated because that heat will be very present. It will also be feeling a little hotter due to that humidity in place. But it's not just us here in Central Florida. Big portion of the area will be dealing with those 90s as well across the Sunshine State, all because of the same system that is bringing devastation and the tornado outbreak across parts of the Mississippi. That's going to continue to build up that heat down to our south. We'll have more details on when we can expect this cold front to finally make changes for us locally here coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
I don't have any kids to pick up at the bus stop, but I tell you, the heat definitely helps with the dog walks.
Oh, yeah.
Ends them real quick.
One lap. They're panting by the end of it.
And they're like, can we go back inside, please? Eastbound I-4, we're not seeing the heavy delay that we normally see, but just be careful along eastbound approaching the 535 area. I do have a crash that just came out here, Central Florida Parkway at International Drive. This is just outside of SeaWorld, just outside the Denny's that's there, Florida Highway Patrol headquarters. So they probably, hopefully, have a good response time to that. And then some delays here, northbound John Young Parkway approaching Central Florida Parkway, with some delays on Taft and OBT. Guys, back to you.
All right, Steve, thank you. We are hitting the road to Oviedo this week, and today we're talking traffic.
Big topic there. Straight ahead, the big changes coming to one major road, all in hopes of making your daily drive less crowded.
Plus, nightlife in downtown Orlando getting slim. New this morning, the announcement of which popular bars are now closing and the reason behind it. You're watching News 6 Mornings, getting results for all of Central Florida. Beautiful shot here from Port Canaveral. We'll be right back.
Right now, we're learning the state's tax-free holidays could soon be nixed. The House budget proposal is calling for an overall cut in sales taxes, and part of the proposal would stop sales tax breaks on things like back to school and hurricane supplies for the first time in 16 years. A key House committee approved the $5.4 billion package yesterday. Governor DeSantis is also calling for cuts to property taxes. So far, though, the Senate has not gotten behind either proposal.
All week, WKMG is hitting the road to Oviedo, and as part of our coverage, we asked about your concerns. Many of you told us it's the traffic. So new this morning, we sent investigator Donovan Myrie to find out what's being done in and around Oviedo to make driving easier.
Seminole County is growing with residents, a lot of people generating a lot of traffic, and the roads are limited right now.
Seminole County is growing, and Slavia Road is a prime example of how population is forecast to outpace capacity. Slavia Road runs east and westbound, paralleling and connecting Red Bug Lake Road to the north and west, with Aloma Avenue to the south and east. In 2024, Seminole County estimated more than 12,500 vehicles use Slavia Road each day as an alternative to traversing Mitchell Hammock Road. Projections over the next 20 years has volume almost doubling. So big changes are coming to the little 1 mile road.
We're taking it from a 2-lane to a 4-lane divided, so we will have additional capacity there.
The county will add additional lanes for each side, put in a new center turn lane, a new 5-foot wide sidewalk on the eastbound side, and a 10-foot wide multi-use path on the westbound side. At Lucas Road, a new traffic signal will be installed to help the flow of traffic in and out of Masters Academy. Total cost, more than $10 million.
One of the big hurdles with widening Slavia Road, the 417. Traffic engineers need to build a temporary road up top. They then need to route traffic to that temporary road, widen the areas down here, rebuild it up, put the traffic on the new span, and then they got to do it a second time.
And because of just that one part of the project,
60 feet wide right now, we have to take it to 100. But the bad news that we got is they're not going to complete it until 2029.
In Oviedo, Donovan Myrie, getting results, News 6.
Now, Seminole County tells News 6 that they were originally looking at extending Slavia Road all the way to Alafaya Trail, but neighbors were against that proposal. Anchor Lisa Bell will be back in Oviedo today as part of our live Hits the Road coverage. She's going to show you a hidden gem that brings in people from all over the world. It all starts at 4 o'clock on WKMG.
Looking forward to that. New this morning, 2 more downtown Orlando bars say they're closing up shop and say strict new rules from the city are to blame. In a message on social media, the owners of One Up and High Tea Orlando say they had no choice because of what they say are insurmountable costs. The message specifically points to a new ordinance passed in 2023 that mandates any business that serves alcohol after midnight buy a special permit and help cover security costs. Owners say it has cost them tens of thousands of dollars they just don't have. Well, a family got quite the surprise while taking photos in the nation's capital.
One of those pictures was photobombed by a very famous face.
I was like, what happened? He was like, that's President Obama over there. I was like, what?
All right, so in the background of that woman's 2 young children, the former president, casually strolling along the tidal basin there. It quickly went viral. Mr. Obama actually reposted this on his Instagram as well with a caption reading, "My bad for stepping into the shot." But that's awesome. Really cool picture. Yeah, got to get that framed. That'll be a great keepsake for years
For sure.
down the line.
Oh, yeah. And then they have to meet now. Someone has to connect them.
Gotta get that signature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's the next step.
Yeah.
That's
Sure
the next
he'll do
step. Yeah.
And that was probably Secret Service right behind him, right?
Definitely.
Never too far.
Never too
Yes,
far.
definitely.
He's more worried about threats and all that stuff, not photobombing,
Well, if
right?
you look at the president, though, he's just like,
Cherry blossoms.
Cherry blossoms.
They're in
pretty.
bloom.
like,
Yeah. So he saw them taking the picture, was like, okay, go.
yeah, that's great.
That's a good one. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast. Across the area, we are going to continue to see temperatures nearing 90 again for today. I know we're just 3 days into April, but guess what? All 3 days, we're going to be in those 90s, and that 90-degree stretch is going to continue throughout Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday as well, but even into Sunday and Monday. By the way, we're actually going to crank up that heat a little further. Now, our forecast highs versus the average, pretty much all of us are going to still be well above average, but you see that there's no red boxes, meaning we're not flirting with records just yet. We will Sunday and Monday, but in the meantime, though, not only will it be hitting 90 degrees, it will be feeling more like the mid to low 90s. Now, temperatures out the door, it is warm. It is quiet out there. Right now, temperatures are all in those mid to low 70s, not a lot of fog, no rain to contend with. It's just one of those typical kind of summer start kind of days where you can feel that it's already going to be a hot day. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday afternoon. 90 will be our high this afternoon. By the lunchtime hour, already above that average for this time of the year. Our average is only 81, so we're already surpassing that by the lunchtime hour and into the evening, even by as late as 8 p.m., still holding on to those 80s. But again, we are talking about the temperatures warming up a little further. We could see the hottest day on Sunday and Monday, 92 potentially both days, as well as both days getting close to near record. The record, for instance, on Sunday is 93, set back in 2022. So if you have any outdoor plans, they should be okay because we don't have any rain to deal with, but just do be aware you're going to have to be dealing with that heat in some way. So maybe the pool or the beach or sprinklers or boating, something that at least is close to water or something close to, well, air conditioning. Looking here at the clouds and rain forecast, we will finally see kind of a break from this heat as that same system that is bringing the severe weather outbreak across the deep south will finally start trekking further south into central Florida come Sunday into Monday. So you can see here, this is Sunday moving into the panhandle. Still going to be another hot day on Monday. But then the arrival of that rain looks to be late Monday and into early Tuesday. Rain chances will be surging up. We're going to continue to track those trends and really kind of iron out those details on one, how much rain we could see, how strong and severe, and how quick the rain will move out. Now, rain chances for now hovering about a 40 to 50% chance on Tuesday morning, but I think we're going to start trending those rain chances up as we are starting to see a lot more of those models coming into agreement. Before we get the rain and enjoy the cooler weather behind that front, again, it is going to be all about the heat. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
All right, this morning, starting to get a little busy, 7:21 in the morning. Hear me out. West of Williamsburg, if you live out here, maybe you're visiting us from out of town, headed to SeaWorld or South I Drive, there's a pretty serious crash right here at the intersection of International Drive over at Central Florida Parkway. That's just outside of SeaWorld there, so just please be careful as you're cruising through. Build up along Taft Vineland and OBT, and then there was an earlier crash reported here along Oak Ridge. It looks like it went away just west of here of Orange Avenue, listed as a patrol car crash. So be careful. Don't know who crashed. Someone's going to get written up, but be careful out there. And then here, I'm not sure here, but there's no crash reported here at Colonial and John Young Parkway. However, we're seeing some heavy delays. I've pulled up a DOT cam that's out here. They're reporting that westbound's closed. We're looking westbound. It's not closed, so I'll try to figure out what's going on. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Trooper Steve. The time is now 7:22. It's something we don't want to hear about hurricane season. You know, it's right around the corner, but there are some storm names that you won't see this year or in the future.
At the bottom of the hour, the names being retired after last year's deadly season.
And a consumer alert when it comes to your taxes, the social media advice the IRS is telling you to ignore.
Well, you see her every weekday on WKMG, but that will soon change.
After 30 years, Deborah Norville announced she will soon be stepping down as host of Inside Edition.
Now is the time for me to move on from Inside Edition. They made me a lovely offer to stay, but there are things I'd like to do and places I want to do them that continuing here don't permit.
Norville made the announcement yesterday, saying she will leave at the end of the season. She joined Inside Edition back in 1995 after leaving CBS News. Norville says she has some, quote, exciting plans for the future and will reveal them in the coming months.
The IRS is warning people about getting tax return advice from social media. It could cost you a fine or your refund could be delayed. So just a few of the false claims influencers are giving include tapping into obscure credits that can net you bigger refunds, also how to write off your pet, and hiring your own kids. Tax professionals say you're likely missing out on tax credits you do qualify for.
If you leave off the earned income credit, which about 1 out of 5 do every year, or you leave off a deduction related to your self-employment, the IRS doesn't say, oh, wait a minute, they don't add back deductions, they don't add back credits, you don't get a bigger refund from the IRS. You leave it off, it stays off.
By the way, the filing deadline is April 15th. One man taking the title of worst ex ever.
Coming up, the unusual animal he's accused of stealing from his ex.
And President Trump's recently announced tariffs causing reaction across the globe. Details next.
Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
Good morning, Central Florida. We are tracking another hot day across Central Florida, all thanks to a big ridge of high pressure, which is going to keep the severe weather threat up to our north. We will be tapping into some more rain, though, early next week. Temperatures out the door. It's warm start into the 70s, but into the 90s we go for another day, possibly the third consecutive day, hitting 90 degrees for the beginning of April. And we're going to continue on this 90-degree stretch, even cranking up the heat a little further as we head into the weekend. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Crash, Central Florida Parkway, International Drive, just outside of SeaWorld there, so please be careful, causing some delays on International Drive. And then east of there, patrol car crash at Orange Avenue in Oak Ridge. And then we were having some issues out here. State Road 50 at John Young Parkway. Technically, this is the city of Orlando. DOT cam not facing the way I need it to, but We're seeing some slowdowns now just northbound. The news continues next. Remember, get updates on any of our stories over at clickorlando.com.
This portion of the news is sponsored by AK Certified Roofing. Live from clickorlando.com and WKMG, we're getting results.
7:30 now. Let's get a check of our top stories. Breaking overnight, futures on Wall Street have taken a huge dive following President Trump's announcement about new global tariffs. They're going to go in place this weekend against 60 countries. Some experts are warning it'll lead to higher prices on many items.
Prosecutors say they will give a, quote, significant update today on the case of a 10-year-old Tavares boy who police say was abused to death. The boy's mother and her boyfriend are currently locked up facing murder charges.
And FWC will hold another public meeting today over a proposal for a new bear hunt in Florida. Yesterday, wildlife workers revealed that hunt could happen in December, despite strong opposition from animal rights advocates.
But first, let's turn to your weather. If you like the heat, you could stay here. You could stay in Florida.
We like the heat. We definitely like the heat as the sun continues to rise over downtown Orlando. Let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And today would be a good day to perhaps mow the lawn if somebody has the afternoon to do that. I'm referencing myself because that is much needed at my house.
Then come over and mow the lawn at my house.
No. I got one. I got Meyer to worry about. That's plenty. That's plenty for me.
Yeah, I mean, and not only do you have to make sure you're cutting your lawn, but also watering it because Mother Nature not adding any more rain to the forecast at least until about late Monday and into Tuesday. So not only is it going to be hot, because it is so hot and so dry, we're going to see a lot of our lawns get a little extra crunchy in the next couple of days. Right now we're in those low 70s. If you have some outdoor plans you need to get done, I would just say get them done as early as possible because it is going to be another scorcher of a day for the beginning of April. For right now, look at that temperature in Titusville. Currently at 77 degrees. It's only 7:30 in the morning, and already we're nearing 80 along our coastline. Now, our highs today will be nearing 90 in and around areas of central Florida. Along our coastline, we'll be in those mid-80s, but the heat is going to be felt all across the Sunshine State. Now, like I showed you, rain chances are going to stay out of the picture for the most part. Maybe a coastal shower or two along our beaches today and tomorrow, but it's all going to be about the heat until Monday and Tuesday. We're watching a new cold front. This cold front will be bringing much cooler changes in the forecast into next week. We'll have more details on the final break from this heat wave coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
We're still watching that crash. Central Florida Parkway, International Drive over in Williamsburg. Half residential, half tourist. Please make sure you're paying attention out there. A lot of pedestrian traffic as well. Oak Ridge and Orange Avenue, this crash here with the right lane blocked, but I'm not picking up the delays anymore, so I don't think it's as bad as when it first started. This one just came out a little while ago, Clarcona-Ocoee Road, headed west over by Rose. So this is just west there of Orange Blossom Trail. Gets real busy. And look, just north of there, eastbound Maitland Boulevard approaching OBT. That is a routine slowdown. We haven't had a crash out there. You guys have been good increasing the distance. Just drive safely, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Breaking overnight, President Trump's new global tariffs sparking reaction from Wall Street.
Overnight, stock futures took a huge tumble just hours after Trump announced dozens of U.S. trade partners will need to pay more to get their goods into the U.S. News 6's Angie Gasada joins us live. And Angie, the president says this will boost the economy, but it's people's wallets that could feel the pinch short term, right?
Oh, yeah, guys, with these new tariffs set to take effect in just a few days, what some experts are saying, it's consumers that need to be prepared for what could be major price increases. President Trump unveiling his new tariff policy to the world Wednesday on what Trump named Liberation Day. He announced sweeping new tariffs.
This is one of the most important days, in my opinion, in American history. It's our declaration of economic independence.
Aiming to redraw economic agreements with U.S. trading partners, Trump announced tariffs of at least 10% on practically all goods coming into the U.S., with even higher rates for 60 countries that have the highest trade deficits with the U.S. The president saying the charges will boost American production and will help level the playing field, even though the tariffs in many cases are far less than what the countries are charging the United States.
reciprocal tariffs on countries throughout the world. Reciprocal. That means they do it to us and we do it to them.
Trump has already imposed 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports. A 25% tariff of foreign-made cars went into effect at midnight, and a 25% tariff on foreign auto parts no later than early May. And several U.S. trade partners already have pledged to retaliate. Again, this is going to take effect at midnight on April 5th. Reporting in Orlando, Angie Casada, Getting Results, News 6.
Thank you for the breakdown, Angie. So a lot of people have been asking, what's the bottom line on this? So here are the big things to know. First, the potential for higher prices on everyday items. Many experts say it's almost a certainty. The administration, though, is downplaying that. Second would be retirement accounts. We've already seen stocks go down in recent weeks over these tariffs. And if they don't rebound, of course, that could have a big impact. Now, for us here in Central Florida, there's the tourism component. In fact, we talked to Visit Orlando about this. They say if inflation goes higher because of these tariffs, that could impact the number of visitors who visit the area. So if you want to see an in-depth breakdown of what that could all look like, we have posted it on clickorlando.com. Just look right on the homepage.
Happening today, prosecutors in Lake County are set to give an update on a brutal case of child abuse that left a 10-year-old boy dead. The state attorney's office says it will provide a, quote, significant development in the prosecution of both Andre Walker and Kimberly Mills. The pair are currently locked up and facing charges connected to the death of Mills' son, Xavier Williams. Investigators say the boy had been abused and tortured and died last month after spending weeks in the hospital. Today's announcement is set for 2:30.
This morning, we're hearing from one of the teenagers allegedly held at gunpoint while they were just fishing in a Melbourne subdivision. 59-year-old Donna Elkins is accused of pulling a pellet gun on the boys last week, saying they were trespassing on her property. The teen boys caught the whole thing on camera.
Do you get people in your backyard? Sometimes, man. That's definitely sad. Because if someone goes in your backyard, you can blow their heads off. I have a right to protect my property and my house.
Sheriff's office says those boys were actually 30 feet away from Elkins' backyard in the Bay Tree neighborhood. News 6's James Baravero spoke to one of them over the phone.
I'm still pretty shooken up. I just can't believe it really happened. That I got a gun pulled on me.
James also spoke to Elkins. She says she wants to tell her side of the story as well. She's just not ready to be interviewed quite yet. She is facing charges of aggravated assault and false imprisonment.
New this morning, Florida's newest Congressman Randy Fine and Jimmy Patronis have officially been sworn in. We told you how the two Republican lawmakers won special elections on Tuesday. Fine will represent Florida's 6th congressional district in the seat formerly held by Mike Waltz. Patronis will take Matt Gaetz's old seat in the 1st district. The House now stands at 220 Republicans and 213 Democrats. We now know the date for Amazon's first Project Kuiper internet satellite launch. The satellites are slated to take off on United Launch Alliance's Atlas V rocket from Cape Canaveral on April 9th. That's next Wednesday at 12 p.m. noon. There will be 27 production satellites on board. Kuiper will compete with other low Earth orbit satellite internet providers, including Elon Musk's Starlink.
Well, Florida is facing a severe dental care crisis. The state, in fact, ranks last in the nation for children's access to dental care, and 66 of Florida's 67 counties do not have enough dental professionals. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez live in studio now. And Stephanie, you recently went to a free clinic where people were lined up for hours just for the chance to get desperately needed care.
Yes, Justin, I met several people there who got there really early. It was cold that day, all to just get a free checkup or any of the care that they needed because they're either uninsured or underinsured, which leaves them with few options and oral issues that could become fatal.
Well, Aspen Dental wants $6,000, so I don't have that.
There is a common theme.
These days, dental work is very expensive.
At this Daytona Beach high school.
I'm trying to get my partials done, you know what I'm saying? Because I've been really needed it. It's been years because they said it cost $4,000.
Thousands showed up before dawn with the hope of getting free dental care.
We were here at 3:30 this morning.
According to the U.S. Health Resources and Services Administration, Florida ranked 50th in the percentage of children getting an annual visit in 2021, 42nd in percentage of adults getting one that same year. And annually, nearly 120,000 Floridians visit the ER for non-traumatic dental conditions, even though most ERs don't provide dental care.
We are not a third world country. We really should be able to do better.
Dental hygienist and founder of Floridians for Dental Access, Catherine Cabazon, says we're not only short-staffed, but many patients don't have insurance.
There are not many Medicaid providers within the state of Florida and in my county as well. And those that are Medicaid providers, they may not be taking a new patient for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. When you have an emergency, you can't wait. That's what drives people to the ER.
Groups like Floridians for Dental Access are calling on the state to act. One suggestion is to get more people in the field to offer routine visits to prevent these 67 different diseases and conditions that are associated with our oral health. In the studio, Stephanie Rodriguez, getting Results News 6.
Important information there. Thanks, Stephanie. We're getting first looks at the result of severe storms that swept across parts of the Midwest and southern U.S. Dozens of tornadoes and severe thunderstorm warnings were issued in Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Missouri, and Mississippi. Right now, officials say one person was killed and nearly a dozen more injured. Some areas are beginning today with cleanup efforts, but bracing for more storms to come. The National Weather Service says the region could continue to see severe weather through Saturday.
And let's get over to Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos with more on this system that, Candace, will eventually make its way here to Central Florida.
It will, and it's our weather in the 90s is the reason why the storms are going to stick around for as long as they are across the deep south. And the reason for we have a big blocking high that's just out over the Atlantic, and that's stopping from this front from actually progressing any further south. So because of that, we do have a marginal risk in effect for another day today and tomorrow. Look at all the storm reports just within the last 24 hours across parts from St. Louis through Nashville. And again, this is going to be another kind of the main zone that we're going to continue to see kind of the worst of the weather. Severe weather risk, at least it's not in the high or extreme category, but certainly enhanced through Memphis and Nashville. And then even into tomorrow, it almost backs up a little bit as the system's going to turn almost stationary. It's not until Sunday, Monday, where we will start to see it finally start pushing further south. Again, there's that big ridge of high pressure, again, blocking those severe storms from making their way any further south. In the meantime, though, it's going to be downright hot. We are going to be tapping into the same front. We're finally going to get a push from that jet stream. That ridge is going to break down, and that's going to allow some movement of this front that is going to make its way through Central Florida as we head into Monday and Tuesday. But notice the changes behind this front. This cool front is actually going to be cool, dropping temperatures from near 92 degrees on Monday down to the 70s on Tuesday. We'll have more details on the timing as well as a more of a pinpoint forecast of these temperatures coming up in just a bit. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Those fronts always look so rockin' when they're headed this way. Drive times, if you're leaving John Young Parkway westbound on I-4 to 27, 26-minute drive still. So our westbound lane's doing good. That slowdown is starting on the Florida Turnpike. Please be careful southbound right in the Montverde, Mineola, Claremont area, and then Montverde. You guys are back seeing in your school zones this morning, so please be careful. Crash still hanging out Central Florida Parkway and I-Drive, Orange Avenue and Oak Ridge still seeing there, but that earlier one off of Clark-Conacoe has cleared out at OBT. Yesterday on patrol, we were cruising around up in Marion, County Road 484. Man, there's some heavy construction going on out there. I haven't been up in this area for a while, so it's always nice to get Results One out there live streaming. We had some viewers commenting on YouTube. That was a good time. Appreciate you guys sending me out here. This construction is set to wrap per FDOT by the end of the year. We'll see what happens. Head to clickorlando.com so you can check out that stream. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Well, the results are in. Florida is home to some of the top schools in the nation.
Coming up, the Central Florida locations ranked among the top 10. Plus,
Relax, Lamar.
how far would you go to get back an ex? Well, one man, what he's accused of doing to his ex's pet chicken and why it landed him behind bars.
Plus, a time crunch to get thousands of bats out of a local stadium, while crews say they're working against the clock to do it.
time for Ask Trooper Steve, where I get to answer some of the questions that you send in to me. And I think somebody might be missing their car if they're submitting a question like this. So this is what came in. I may or may not have parked in a no parking zone. Car's gone. How do I find my car? Alan, listen to me, man. Got to make sure you're parking in areas that you're allowed to. So if you're parking in any type of like downtown area for an event, heck, even in your neighborhood sometimes or apartment complexes, you got to make sure you're following the rules and in a proper parking area, or you could wake up and maybe that was a tow zone. So if this situation was to ever happen to you, it may or may not have happened to me when I was younger, call your local law enforcement agency. Don't just get there on the phone and start dialing 911 and start flipping out that your car got stolen. Call them, non-emergency number. It's super easy. You can just Google, say for example, Orlando Police Department non-emergency. It'll pop right up. Give them a call. You'll be able to speak to a dispatcher. There is a system that tow truck drivers are required to input your vehicle information into so that when you start freaking out because your car's gone, local authorities can say, hey, so-and-so towed your car. If you got a traffic safety question, you want me to maybe answer it, explain it to you, break it down, head on over to clickorlando.com/AskTrooperSteve.
Man, I'd be freaking out if that happened to me, Steve. Thanks for that information. Well, bats are invading a Central Florida stadium. Now workers are brainstorming ways to get them out. Daytona Beach says it will spend tens of thousands of dollars to have trappers remove more than 5,000 bats, as you can see with those photos, from the city's municipal stadium. But they'll have to work fast. That's because maternity season begins April 15th. And after that, removing bats is against the law until mid-August.
It's definitely a concern when you're dealing with the public and patrons coming into an event or something like that. You want to make sure that the public safety is the number one issue.
Yeah, they may not be the friendliest. The city says removing the bats should take about a week to complete.
I like the bats in my yard, though. No mosquitoes.
Oh, okay.
That's what they do. They eat
That's
them
a
bugs.
pro.
Well, several schools in Central Florida made U.S. News' list of the top 100 in the state. The ranking looks at factors like graduation rates, college readiness, and scores on state assessments. West Shore Junior Senior High School in Melbourne came in at number 3 in the state. Edgewood Junior Senior High in Merritt Island joined them in the top 10 in Florida at number 6. As far as the other schools, the top ones in Central Florida. In Orange County, it's Orlando Science Middle High Charter. Neo City Academy leads the way in Osceola County. And then Haggerty High takes the top ranking in Seminole County.
Okay, you know, I'm a big advocate because I'm a product of Brevard County Schools, so go us.
I didn't see yours on there.
Look, you know what, Justin?
Where's Rockledge? I didn't see Rockledge on there.
Okay, let's move on. Just a bizarre story out of Washington State. See, I can't even. A man is arrested after deputies say he broke into his ex-girlfriend's home to steal her pet chicken.
Show me your hands. That's fine. Just hold your chicken. I'm not going to hurt your chicken.
The ex-girlfriend says the 50-year-old suspect left the home with the chicken yelling, "I've got Polly." The sheriff's office says the suspect has just been released from jail 2 hours prior, so that makes sense. Officials allowed him to place the chicken in a patrol unit before booking him in jail. Polly is doing okay and was safely returned to her owner. He said, "You're breaking up with me. I'm taking the chicken with me."
So. At least it's to that level. Like,
Right.
It's not elevated. At least it was just the chicken. The chicken's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's facing charges.
Poor Polly, though. She's like gotten in the middle
Traumatic.
of this.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just trying to eat the ground. Like, eat the ground and lay eggs. That's what I was put on this earth to do.
On this earth to do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, they don't just eat the ground. They
Pluck on everything.
No, they pick up something. Anyway, let's talk about it. There's a saying that says, "Don't pica que pica pollo," which it's a Spanish saying. You can Google it yourself.
Does that chicken eat the poop or something?
Yeah.
Or-
Yeah, you're eating.
Oh, okay. We're all like,
say,
huh?
We can say poop.
They're sustainable.
You can say poop.
Sustainable.
They are.
Sustainable animals.
Yeah,
They're full circle.
do what they got to do.
All right.
That we eat a lot.
Anytime I go to the grocery store and I get like the chicken nuggets for the kids, I'm gonna be like, "I got Polly," you know. That's gonna be my new thing. All right, let's talk about the weather forecast across the area today. Listen, you're grabbing lunch this afternoon. You might want to have an indoor lunch because it is going to be a hot one, unless you're kind of under the shade and you kind of want to embrace the warming trend because we live in Florida. If you don't embrace it, You're going to have a real rough couple months. All right, temperatures, though, as we head into the weekend, we're going to crank up the heat a little further. Low 90s come Sunday and into Monday. Could get close to near record-breaking temperatures both days. The record is 93, for instance, on Sunday. We're then watching a cold front that's going to come through, sweeping through the area. We'll have some rain, some storms early on Tuesday. But behind that front, noticeably cooler temperatures. Highs will be struggling to hit those mid 70s. Right now, we're starting in the mid 70s. You know, it's going to be a hot day when temperatures at 7:50 in the morning look like this. We're at 71 right now in Sanford, 70, I should say, in Sanford, 71 in DeLand, 73 in New Smyrna, 72 in Claremont. Mitco right now holding at 76. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for today. You know, it's going to be another hot afternoon. We've hit 90 degrees the 1st and the 2nd of April. We're going to get right back to that for the 3rd of April today on your Thursday. But not only are the temperatures, the actual apparent temperatures will be near 90, the feels like temperatures could get a little hotter, especially across our inland zones, primarily as that east coast sea breeze pushes inland. It'll cap those highs in the mid 80s along our coast, low 90s along I-4, but it's not until later on into the afternoon where you guys will start seeing a bit cooler temperatures. So in the meantime, though, the feels like temperatures up and down 75 corridor, Ocala, the Villages, Leesburg, we will be feeling in like the mid to low 90s. And again, that's going to be the trend. Our average for this time of the year is 81. We're going to crank up the heat a little further, all ahead of our next cold front. Heat and the humidity tends to build up just before that front gets here, and that's exactly what's going to happen. As we take you here throughout the next few hours, next few days, into the evening hours on Monday, notice the rain will start to approach. I don't think Monday will be very soggy. We'll start off the morning on Tuesday on the stormy side, and then the skies will clear, temperatures will drop. Notice your highs for Tuesday. We're talking staying in the 70s, and then we could see even more of a cool down with another cold front next week. Should be keeping us well below average. Now let's check on those roadways with Trooper Steve. He's got your pinpoint traffic.
Roadways aren't horrible this morning. We're actually, whoa, there's a wall here. I just backed into it. Eastbound I-4. This isn't that bad, guys. Normally we're seeing a much bigger delay out here this morning. Your drive times, not horrible. 33 minutes from Sanford to downtown. This is in worse condition than this one is. At 28 minutes from Champions Gate eastbound to the downtown area, which is about right. Maitland, Horatio, good morning to you. East and westbound through the Fern Park area. Even Turnpike on the northern portion out by 408. Things are running smooth. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. The Florida Gators one step closer to taking the court for the Final Four. The send-off the team got before heading to Texas. Beryl, Helene, and Milton have officially been retired as Atlantic hurricane names in the wake of the deadly 2024 season. Helene was the deadliest U.S. hurricane since Katrina in 2005, killing about 250 people. The World Meteorological Organization Hurricane Committee retires storm names that have been especially deadly or destructive. They do it to avoid confusion in future seasons. The names Brianna, Holly, and Miguel will be used in their place. A total of 100 names have now been retired and will never be used again.
The Florida Gators men's basketball team is waking up in Texas ahead of this weekend's Final Four matchup.
Yeah, and here's some video of the team arriving in San Antonio yesterday. It's the first time the Gators have made the Final Four since 2014. Fans couldn't be happier, of course, and this was the scene yesterday at UF in Gainesville as the team boarded the buses and headed to the airport. Hundreds sending them off with cheers in their blue and orange.
Guess who went there? Guess who went there?
Who?
I did.
Oh, right.
Gator right
Gator,
there.
Gator. And you can watch them take on Auburn on WKMG Saturday night. Go Gators.
Jealous?
Go Gator.
She had to make up for not.
I'm
the
just
Rockledge.
glad that there's no severe weather that we have to contend with this weekend. That's all I'm saying. All right, so look here, these temperatures out the door. It's going to be hot right now. We're in those low 70s, near 90 degrees. That's going to be the story across most of our inland locations. Getting even hotter, though, come Saturday and Sunday. It's not severe, but it's going to be downright hot. Looking for our next best shot for rain, though. That comes Monday into Tuesday, bringing with it much cooler air. That's going to start up on Tuesday, and that will stick around for a little bit, guys. Steve.
All right. Roads. They're not bad on a Thursday, surprisingly. I-4 426 out here. You can see I-4 moving a little slow on the westbound side, but outside of that, most of the crashes have cleared up. The lanes are green, and we're just seeing the slowdowns pretty much where they're supposed to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
We'll take that. No doubt about that. Thanks, Steve. Thanks for joining us. We break news on clickorlando.com.
You can also find all of our stories on our new 6 Plus app for your TV.
Have a great Thursday.
Rockledge, you're on.